Good, you ready? Good evening, calling to order the Revere School Committee meeting of the whole, Committee of the Whole, November 18, 2025. Will all rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Looks like everyone's in attendance. We have I guess I'll also call out, we have a few of our school committee elect members here as well. We want to do a roll call, please.
We have to.
Yes, roll call. We have Ms. Mildred Ellis,
Present.
Ms. Rizzo,
Yeah.
Mr. Kingston,
Here.
Mr. Snella, President, Mr. Caggiano,
Here.
Ms. Monterosso,
Present.
and myself, Patrick Keefe. We also have Assistant Superintendent Dr. Garcia, Superintendent Kelly, and Matt Cruz. Also, we have school committee elect Stephen Damiano here.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I believe that's it for future members. Okay. You start with the consent calendar. The warrants. And Mr. Kingston.
Mr. Cruz, on page one, numbers 29 through, sorry, 29 through 35, talent recruitment program.
Dr. Garcia, you wanna walk through that?
It was just a new one to me.
Yep. He could probably.
I'll just highlight also, John, it goes on to the next page. It includes lines 32 through 35.
Right, oh, okay, fine.
And those, that's the fee for the teachers. The RVP is the consulting firm that we work with to bring our international teachers.
Oh, okay.
And so each of those line items is for each one of those international teachers that we work with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And to clarify, this is part of that teacher diversification grant we received.
That's right. Yep.
Mr. Caggiano.
One of the ones I wanted to talk about, I know you can't go into it. Do we have any pending grievance or litigation? Because I noticed we have, I know we talked about an executive session, but do
Yeah.
we have something ongoing?
We have several issues that are ongoing. Yeah.
We can talk about that. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And how about the Commonwealth? What is,
What line is that?
page 3 of 26, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. Says nurses.
Oh, yeah.
Services, just clarification.
So I'm gonna assume that those are nursing services that we're required to provide for outplay students who have that in their IEP. So some of the kids with more severe special needs require a certified nurse to be on their transport when they're going to and from school. So we hire outside agencies to fill that role. Those kinds of expenses are part of the circuit breaker that we get partial reimbursement from the state after the fact for those. They would be the kinds of students whose educational needs require such extraordinary cost that the state reimburses us partially for them through the circuit breaker program.
And one more, on page 4, number 120, the Home for Little.
Wanderers.
In-school counseling service, can you clarify?
Yeah, so we have a partnership with the Home for Little Wanderers where they come in and provide services to some of the students who are students in Revere, but are also under the care of the Home for Little Wanderers through their counseling services. And it was actually the city council who helped us with this for a number of years. We had grants that covered that partnership, and the Home for Little Wanderers had grants that covered that partnership, and then those grants went away. And the city council, I think it was Councilor Silvestri, actually, who made the initial motion. And he arranged for the city and the city council, thankfully, to pay that cost so we could continue the program. And they did that for a couple of years, and now I believe we're budgeting for it.
Right, I think it's the third year that we have it in our side.
But when
So-
we say in-school counsel, what kind of counsel are you giving to the students? I mean,
It's social emotional counseling. So it's for kids that might have some behavior or
Okay.
psychological
Okay.
issues that they're dealing with.
Just because I remember when Council Silvestri, when I first got on, there was some gap in funding, basically. A lot of the needs tend to be where these children don't have the healthcare services through individual healthcare plans to cover them. So this helps kind of provide that gap in funding where they can't get it through traditional, Medicare or Medicaid or even their own private health insurance companies. So this was something that there was a little bit of, obviously since the 2020 year, there was more of these social emotional issues just popping up and there was definitely a need. And I think it's one of those programs where as long as they're providing a service, it's money well spent.
Mhm.
If we're seeing a decline in need, then that's probably a decision we can make at some point, whether it's in the next couple of years, if there's no need, there's no
No.
need for service.
And they're wonderful, wonderful counselors that
Right.
we get to work with, so.
Right.
They help us in other areas, even with a couple of kids that are not on their caseload, they can help us get kids. Signed up with the Home for Little Wanderers when we identify a student who's not receiving services, but they need services in the home and,
Okay. Thank you.
Diane, on nine of 26, page 9 on the repair of food service equipment, I thought that was the responsibility of the contract.
No, so the contractor is. It's the FSMC, Services Management Company. So they're managing the program. But all of the equipment. Every fork and knife and napkin, really the food too, is ours, and they're helping us to execute the programming. So we purchase the equipment. That's the capital reporting we do and the depreciation schedule that we keep. And then we do repairs of the freestanding equipment through a state contract company. So as things break down, Carl oversees the repair of those. And we have a budget that we appropriate for those needs. If it exceeds that, we can use food services management revolving account money. But most years we're within that budget.
At one time, when the contracts went out, were the food services responsible for the equipment?
No, there have been contracts executed in the past where as a part of the award, they make a pledge to invest a certain amount of money in new equipment. But that would be beyond the normal recurring management of the program itself.
Thank you.
Anyone else on warrants? No.
So just as an example of why that's something that we mentioned to you and why it's such an unknown. We just had our most recent placement, and this placement was for $576,000 for a student. So that's spiking that deficit more than it had been the last time that we talked. We'll still manage that with all the other tuitions that, money that we have, but just wanted to not only make sure that you're aware, but this is why it's something that we would bring up in conversation at these committee meetings. Because that is the kind of account that can have surges in cost depending on unexpected outplacements.
Matt, could you repeat that amount?
$576,000. And there's in this case, for example, just so you're aware, there's a base fee for the, residential program, so 365 days of care. But this student also requires immediate attention for many of the hours that he's awake. So there's the cost of an aide servicing as well. So if you looked at the purchase order contract, you would see two lines. But this is an account that, we were saying 2 years ago, if you go to the data, you see that our total cost for residential tuitions for the year was around $330,000. And then last year was a little bit over $1 million. And now this year, it's creeping up toward 2 million of money funds encumbered at this point. So it's just the kind of thing we want you to be aware of. And you can feel those dollar amounts can swing financial conversations as they come.
And do we recoup any of these funds?
So this tuition and the one-to-one aid would be a part of our circuit breaker claim.
Okay.
So we would claim that for this year. It would go into the calculus in July for next year. So we won't be seeing the reimbursement for this until the next calendar year. So we're chasing. So God forbid, but if we had 5 of these kind of things happen, then it's a struggle this year. And then next year we'll say, wow, look how big our circuit breaker reimbursement is, because it's an echo effect.
Right.
But that money next year is not helping us
No.
cash flow wise for this.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and can you just, for everyone's identification, percentage of reimbursement on circuit breaker?
So it's at, is it 78 this year?
It is, but so that requires a vote of the legislature every year, and we can't predict what it's gonna be. It's been as low as 60%. Some years.
Mhm.
So
That-
you probably hear a lot of people saying they need to fully fund the circuit breaker, and that's why they don't always fully fund it.
Same goes for transportation
Well, exactly.
for those students. And often their priority is the tuition costs. And then they're working with what's remaining to allocate for the others. So it's just the kind of thing that we would want the committee to be aware. These are the conversations that we have, and this is the budget analytics that you're doing on a monthly basis to kind of feel your way forward. This is unusual in that direction. And the circuit breaker reimbursement for it won't be felt until the next fiscal year.
Thank you. Okay. Enrollment update. Kelly?
So you all have the current enrollments in front of you. As we've been talking about, over the last several months, we are seeing declined enrollment. For the first time in a long time, we're down below 7,000. We're at 6,911. Typically, each year we would see an influx in enrollment in January. We don't anticipate that we will see that this year. That was typically from students who were moving in from other countries, and we don't anticipate that we'll see that this year. So we are anticipating the negative impact that'll have on the budget. But we'll know better in January when the state comes out with the numbers. I know there are a lot of people aware of this at the state level right now. A lot of the urban districts are dealing with this, and I know they're thinking at the state level about how they might kind of feather out the impact of this over a couple of years rather than have it be a strong hit in 1 year, but I'll keep you updated if I hear anything from the state on that.
Thank you. Any questions on the road? You good? Okay.
On the bright side, our class sizes look great.
And satellite sword.
Yeah,
Okay. Personal items, we have new hires. And retirements and resignations.
and again, that was
Right.
provided. There's a sheet there if anybody has any
Mhm.
questions.
Any questions? Okay. All right, gifts and donations.
Yeah, so again, as we're always pretty relentless going after the grants, and there are a number of them. Robin provided for you a lot of information in your packets there. But the Murray Bernstein Charitable Trust gave us $25,000 for the Fine Arts Department, and Director Williams gave you a little letter explaining what that was all about. We've also got 2 grants from DESE. The first was for promoting safe and healthy learning environments. $100,000 for our teen mental health and first aid, health and wellness in the health and wellness department. And the second one, another $60,000 in a similar area for the health and wellness department as well. And then Department of Public Health Strive Grant, Successful Teens, Relationships, Identity and Values Education. for $80,000. So, we're pretty excited about all of that work and, Jill has done an amazing job submitting for those grants and getting them for us, so we're thankful for that.
We'll send a letter.
Yes, thank you letters, yep.
Ms. Monteroso?
These are great to see. I also was wondering if our district is planning to apply to DESI's early literacy tutoring grant that's due on the 26th.
So we already have the early literacy tutoring grant from Jesse and we are continuing with them. So we are doing the, that's how we're doing the individualized tutoring online with the kids. We've had presentations, I think last year we had one, Brianna Supis coordinates all of that work.
So we don't have to reapply.
We don't, we have that grant.
Great.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. School field trips.
Just one new field trip for you, and this is from our outdoors club. Ms. Goldman and Mr. Geezer do a great job taking the kids out, and they're planning one for February that will be an overnight out of state up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And the information is on the sheet that they provided. I don't know if there's any questions to that.
No, that sounds wonderful.
I want to go.
Right, they need a chaperone. It's cool. I like.
I like it. I'll
Bring your
go
skis.
to any of the southern ones.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll just mention while we're talking about field trips, there was a media request put to the school department that somebody had, it was from WBZ saying that they had a tip that all field trips in the city of Revere were canceled. I don't know where that came from, but I assured them that that wasn't true. And I mean, this is, you all know, because you approved the out of state and overnight field trips, but of course, there's many other field trips that happen. If you got a chance to review the packet for the regular meeting, you'll see that our student representative focuses heavily on a lot of the field trips the kids went on, but I don't know where the misinformation is coming from, but there seems to be a lot of it out there in the media these days.
I got a personal request asking about that, and I just say, my response was, I don't recall us saying that, no, we don't allow field trips. Matter of fact, we have a pretty robust schedule of field trips as mentioned. But we have to plan them.
We
So
do,
just because someone says, I want to go on a field trip next week, that doesn't mean we can do it because as you know, the old days of, a field trip walking down the street to another building isn't really probably as much of a to do. But when you go from the old days of a bus was $300-400 a day, and I remember this planning Pop Warner events to now it's $1,200 to $1,600. We have to go through procurement. We have to go through all these processes to find that dollar amount and plan it accordingly so that it should be well planned and thought. It shouldn't just be, last minute suggestions. Everyone
Right.
wants to take the kids and explore and see the best things, but I can't see why we wouldn't have a field trip plan months out. Like, you should plan out your entire year, I think, with
yeah.
the exception of some extenuating circumstances.
And one of the things that we did ask principals to do, particularly at the elementary level, where we are in a tight budget time, and like you said, the transportation is it's unwieldy these days. But we did ask them to talk to their PTAs and see if they were able to help support some of the field trips and to meet with their instructional leadership teams at the building level and plan in advance, exactly like you're saying, Mr. Mayor. This is what we're gonna do with the first grade, the second grade, the third grade. And we did suggest that there might be opportunities to bring people into the school and have a locally based field trip experience, to think about that as ways to save money. We talked about, the fire department has been wonderful to us, and the schools that are near the Central Fire Station on Broadway have sometimes the kids have walked down there and had a walking field trip. And, we need to think beyond just hire a bus and go to the zoo. And that's kind of what we're trying to work with everybody on, making sure. But I don't want there to be any misunderstanding that there will be no field trips in the city of Revere this year. That's just patently false.
In the Hill School, I think, they walk over the third grade class almost each year to do a tour of City Hall and they
Yeah.
meet with us, and we have a wonderful day. It's very educational for them. So those are the ways to tap into what you have in your community.
Yeah,
And back in the day when I was young, and we did field trips, PTA, we had like a planetarium come in for the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
They really enjoyed it.
They didn't even have buses.
great
back
things
then.
we can do.
They did.
With that.
One good tuck it out, now you're out of here.
All right. Any other business? Any communications?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Well,